They could speak to her lawyer, I suppose, if they wanted to get leads of other people to talk to, but she kind of covered all of that in her testimony, so I'm not surprised they're focusing on others first.
Susan, let's talk big picture about that dramatic moment on Friday. I think we have the video we can pull up, guys, in the control room of Jeff Flake gets out of his seat and he walks around to the Democratic side of the hearing room, right? And he gets his friend, Flake-Coons, and they go, and they're literally huddled in a phone booth, okay, negotiating this 1-week pause for an investigation. And then they sit down for this interview, right, a historic moment. We will tell our kids about that one day, right? And they sit down for this interview with Scott Pelley on 60 Minutes last night, and then the politics and the reality of the America we live in today is just clear. Listen to what Jeff Flake said when asked, could you do this if you were running again?
Flake, you've announced that you're not running for re-election, and I wonder, could you have done this if you were running for re-election?
No, not a chance.
Not a chance?
No.
Because politics has become too sharp, too partisan?
Yeah, there's no value to reaching across the aisle. There's no currency for that anymore. There's no incentive.
And to be fair, it's not as though we saw reaching across the aisle. Obamacare was passed with no Republican votes. This isn't just a Republican or Democrat. I think they both do it. But where does that candid answer from Flake, where does that leave us as a country?
Well, you know, doesn't that explain why our politics is so broken? That there is no incentive for reaching across party lines and reaching a compromise. And I think Senator Flake is exactly right when he says that. And I think it's incredibly illuminating to hear him describe that.
Yeah, in fact, you could argue there's a disincentive, right? That it can be fatal, you know, in a primary or, you know, it's funny thinking about that phone booth. You know, I've often been up on the Hill, and you still have these lines of phone booths, which I think our kids would not even recognize what they were.
Well, look what happened in one.
Finally, they found a use for those empty phone booths.
That one's going to the Smithsonian, trust me.
I think you're right. It's nice to have